Welcome back, beautiful souls, to the Horror Pop Extravaganza.
What is up, all you beautiful souls, man? We are so happy you're here. It's another episode at the Horror Pop Manor of the Horror Pop Extravaganza. The Horror Pop. I'm Pops Ghostly, as always, and with me,
just a little Duke Spooky.
yay! I really want to find
Yay,
a good,
Duke Spooky's back.
I really want to find a good sound effect, like crowd cheers, like a bunch of different ones. I think I have some on a hard drive. I know I have a whole Lucas like of sound effects folder full of shit. But that way, when you
Nice.
and CeeWolf and everybody can be like, yay! Or when, we just did that awesome interview about treadmill, and we want to hear more about that. If you haven't, checked that episode out yet, dude, check it out. That little short is terrifying. It is terrifying. But I want, yay, to be able to have those notes.
Why don't you just be like,
Ew. Where am I going to find? I mean, I know where I could find a sound effect like that, but I don't know if I want a sound effect like that in my life. I could create that
I'll just
sound
make
effect.
you one, dude.
I was going to say, I'll create one just for you, and then you'll hear it, and then I'll tell you after the fact, like, that's special. You know what? We're being a little gross. We are going to the Bone Temple today, so...
The Boner Temple is what this movie should be titled.
Right.
Holy smokes, is it hard to look in the eye of these zombies?
Dude, I love, and we'll get to a lot of that. Okay. But 28 years later, I don't even remember, 2001, 2002, when the first one, the 28 Days came out?
28 days later? Yeah, I'm going to say 2001 probably.
I think you're right. I think it was right around 01, because I feel like I was a senior in high school. I was a senior in high school, and I graduated in 01. Then we would get 28, weeks later, and then 28 years later, and this is the follow-up to 28 years later, which
and then
introduced us to the
prequel 28 months later.
Right. Right. So this is on Netflix right now. It just popped on Netflix, so if you want to check it out, you can check it out there, or you can purchase it or rent it from any of the major streaming platforms. But be sure to do that. And also, just another big shout out to our first official Beautiful Soul of the Week, Kevin Stewart, dude. We did the announcement just the other night, which is rad. I love that we're celebrating our people, man. It's what this thing is all about, what the HP is all about. Absolutely. So why don't you just, because there is a lot we got to talk about with this fucking movie, but why don't you open up the IMDb, let us know, who's in it, who directed it. The only place I saw Boyle was producer. I didn't see him anywhere else. He was like an EP or just a producer. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, so Danny Boyle, would do the first three, and then this I think is the first departure from him directing the 28 Day stuff. But go ahead, dude, lay it on us. Give me that little Duke Spookalicious.
Yeah. Here it comes. So the director on this one is Nia DaCosta, who's awesome. And it was written by Alex Garland, which he wrote the other ones in the series.
Right.
Also wrote
yeah. So it does have it has that same feel for sure from a writing standpoint.
It does. Yeah. And I wouldn't have known it wasn't, that it wasn't him, Danny Boyle directing.
Right.
It felt like a Danny Boyle movie. Right. So it was definitely like they were pulling the homage. All right. Are you ready to hear who's in this movie?
Yes.
I would love to find it on here. I think I scrolled past it.
Oh, dude. Well, I'll start you off with Ralph Fiennes reprises his role. Right.
Yeah. I wondered why, when I saw 28 years later, why he took the role. I understand now why he took the role.
Right.
He gets his meat, his good stuff in this one. So
he does, yes.
Jack O'Connell plays Sir Jimmy Crystal, and this guy was great, dude. He was so
weird,
so creepy and slimy. I loved it, dude. Alfie Williams, who was in the first part of it as Spike, like the first part centered on him. This one, he's just kind of like a secondary character,
right? Because the first one was him and his mom, right? It was him and his mom, and then he puts his like mom's skull on the bone temple and stuff. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Then we have a whole pack of Jimmys, which I'm not going to read through those, except for Erin Kellyman, who was like the main Jimmy.
Yeah.
She was Jimmy Inc., and she was really good in this, dude.
She was good.
I've seen her in some other stuff, and she's a powerful performer.
It's hard when they're covered in dirt and scars and blood, to recognize. They're like I don't know, a 28 years later Manson family for the most part. It's
For
just
sure.
like, yeah, let's just run around, carve, upside down crosses into our forehead and just do the devil's work.
But she's got the crazy red hair and then the just freckles all over her face, and I always recognize her from that. Chi Lewis Perry plays Samson.
Oh, yes.
That dude's a fucking beast, and I hope we see him in some other stuff.
Dude, they asked so much more of him in this one and we'll get to a lot of the whys and stuff, but yes, I think he is a powerhouse of an actor, dude.
And sadly missing in this was Aaron Taylor Johnson. He wasn't in this one.
Nope.
So, and then a little cameo. Should we spoil the cameo here now?
Well, we're going to spoil the whole movie, so yes, you can spoil the cameo.
All right, so Cillian Murphy's in this bad boy at the end, reprising his role from the very first movie.
Which was super cool. That's a man that I will, if his name's in the credits, I'll watch it. I don't care what it is. Yeah, he's a powerhouse.
Yeah. He's got that new Peaky Blinders movie out.
I haven't watched it yet, but I know I'm waiting. I've watched all the seasons and everything, but yeah, the immortal man, or the immortal Thomas Shelby or some shit. But yeah, I'm here for it.
And then this is an IMDb original right here. Like, this doesn't make any fucking sense, but this is what they say this movie's about.
Okay.
As Spike is inducted into Jimmy Crystal's gang on the mainland, Dr. Kelso makes a discovery that could alter the world.
That is no good. That is no
They
good.
should have just said it's about a boner temple, and I would have been more excited than what that said.
It's about a boner temple. I'm with you there, though. That's not very exciting.
No.
And it really doesn't give you any real insight into what this movie's about.
Not even a clue.
No. But I think well, I don't know. Let's real quick, I'm going to sidebar with you.
All right.
So you and I both recently took our sons and went to go see the Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie. I've seen it twice now. I went with my daughters and my wife, and then my son was on spring break. He came back, took him again. Saw it in 3D the second time, which was dope.
I wanted to see it in 3D, dude.
That's a good movie in 3D. But I've been reading the reviews, and stuff coming out about the movie. It's kind of middle ground. Nobody's really like loving it. Nobody's really hating it. Too bad. But it's hard, as we got to think the critics and the people who are writing these reviews, are they seeking out like diehard Mario fans, to write this stuff? Because and I feel like this movie is made only if you have an understanding of Nintendo. It makes so much more sense, and it clicks and it hits. The Bone Temple on its own, without the other stuff, I think does, like, if you don't have an understanding of the 28 weeks and years and months and all that, like, lore, this is confusing as shit.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You have no idea what's going on, dude.
Yeah, they make no attempt to explain the 28 years that has come before this movie.
Right. So let's do it, dude. Let's get right into it. 28 years later ended with Spike being abducted by these, essentially they look like the Warriors from the movie The Warriors, even though they all have blonde wigs on and are all called Jimmy. And we learned that this new Jimmy, or the head Jimmy, whatever you said his name was, Crystal or something like that, he's a sick dude, man. They capture the little kid. This movie opens up right with the little kid in this abandoned somewhere with a pool or something in it. And they're like kicking this little kid and beating him up and stuff. And they're like, hey, the only way, it's kind of like Highlander or the Siths, there can be only one or so many Jimmys. So since we found you, you got to pick a Jimmy you want to fight. And, whichever Jimmy wins, that's it. You're the new Jimmy.
Because Jimmy only has 7 fingers, and Jimmy can't have more than 7 fingers.
Right.
So each one of his Jimmys is a finger, which is weird. Why does Jimmy have 7 fingers and not 10 fingers? But okay, whatever. Can you imagine if you started watching this and you hadn't seen 28 years later?
No, because even at the end of 28 years later, I was like, dude, what just happened?
Right.
Because they all come like flying over the rocks, all dressed up like, and then it's just like roll credits. So,
Yeah.
we do open up, but it's still, we don't really understand the Jimmies. And we
No.
get a little bit. I think he was the son of the preacher at the beginning of 28 years later.
Yes.
They kind of alluded to that. And so Jimmy pits the one Jimmy against Spike. And he's kicking him, he's hitting him. He's like, grab the knife, kid. He's standing on it in that. And then he picks it up and stabs him right in his one of his vital arteries in his thigh. I'm not sure which artery that is, but a major artery in the thigh. And this made me so uncomfortable, dude, watching this guy bleed out everywhere.
Yeah, dude, it was rough.
It was like he just kept bleeding, but he's talking and they're laughing, having a good time about it. And then the main Jimmy comes down. He's like, "Oh, what are you? Are you horny? Are you something? He's like, "Oh, you're sleepy." Right as the dude dies on the ground, he's like, "Okay, you're the new Jimmy." And they chuck a wig at him because they all have to have the matching long Jimmy hair. Chuck the wig at the kid. Now he's part of the traveling band of crazies. We go out into the woods. We see a guy hunting who then gets kind of attacked. We get reintroduced to Alpha. Alpha smashes this dude's skull. Well, first he rips his head off. And
just grabs it, just tears the whole spine out, Predator style.
Predator style. There's the whole spine is hanging off, and then he cracks his skull against a tree, opens it up, and just starts scooping gray matter with it,
munching it, dude. It was hardcore. I've never seen brains get ate like that before.
No, very hardcore. But this is where we get the first peak of what Alpha sees, why Alpha is Alpha, why the psychosis and the killing people and the ripping the heads off and all this stuff. Because he's going to attack this hunter guy and he's like, no, don't kill me. But then we see from Alpha's point of view, and dude's face is a demon and it's all like, rah! And so he smashes him all up. It's not long before we're reintroduced to Ralph Fiennes. Most of the movie takes place with him. He's still out there building the bone temple.
Covered in iodine.
Dude, yes. He's, cooking. And when he's peeling the skin off the bones, like the little bit of tendons or muscle or anything, I was like, the details, man. You guys nailed it with the details. But he's out there doing his thing. And at some point, him and Alpha cross paths. And
which him and Alpha cross paths in the first one. Right. He was tranking Alpha.
Right.
And he saw that like he had a special little concoction of tranquilizer that worked on zombies.
Yes.
So he's just out there, no guns, nothing, dude. Just a little blow done.
Like Ace
Night
Ventura,
zombie.
Right? Like Ace Ventura out there killing it.
3 darts is too much.
But he and you see, though, when they first approach, there's this recognition. Like you said, they had met in the first movie, and there's this recognition when Dr. Ian pulls up the blowgun. It's almost like Alpha's like, oh, shit, I know that, this means I fall down or whatever, or something. But he knocks him out, or I guess doesn't knock him out, but he's really drugged up. This dude is
like eyes rolling back in his head. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten shots of Demerol before and stuff at the hospital, and I feel like that's what he looked like. The way I felt in the hospital bed, like, oh, I can't even, anything. And Ralph Fiennes is an acting genius. This guy, another one when his name's on the credits, I'm like, I know I'm in for a performance. I'm going to see something good. And he gives this great speech about I feel like the mouse taking the thorns out of the lion's paw and stuff like that. And he does it, and then they kind of take off. I think we follow our band. We're following them around for a while.
Well, the big moment comes here where he does take out the arrows out of the Alpha, and the Alpha's just sitting there, and Ralph Fiennes sits down next to him. And they kind of have that moment. He's like, if you could just say just one word, like it would be such a big deal. And he doesn't do it. But then Ralph Fiennes stabs himself, dude, with a blow dart and just goes out.
I thought that was a little bit later because he didn't stab himself. Later? He was licking on the blow dart.
Oh, that's right. Just licked
the next meeting afterwards, I think, when they met up again, he's like, oh, you're coming back to me for this because it's the only reprieve you get from whatever's tormenting you.
Right.
It's the only thing because he starts licking the thing and he's like, we all need a little reprieve sometimes. He's like, I guess this is it. You know, I'm gonna pass out next to you, and if I wake up, and he wakes up, and he's like, huh. Still on. He's, he's grabbing his dome. And Alpha is gone, or Samson. We learned his name is Samson, and that he had given the name Samson because he was the biggest, the hair, kind of all of the biblical pieces that are tied to Samson.
And I don't know if they used film effects to make this some bitch look huge, but this dude is fucking huge.
I'm sure he's huge, dude. Those people exist in the world. You know what I mean? He kind of looks like he could be what's his face is Aquaman's Jason Momoa's body double. I'm like,
totally,
especially with the hairs all curly and yeah. And yes, so we get this big revelation where they sit next to each other, and now Dr. Ian comes upon this. He's teaching him to dance. They're having a great time, you know, all this stuff. And we get this really nice Frankenstein's monster and the doctor moment where he's like, you know, I want you to have all this peace, dude, but I only have so much morphine. And if you can understand me, you know, anything, I only have so much of this stuff. Can you, and the dude's just at the bottom of the temple. He's been looking up at the sky. A beautifully shot movie. This whole thing is just gorgeous, man. Really, really well done. And right before he's about to inject him, he's essentially going to euthanize him. He's like, I wish you could give me your consent. He's like, I just want you to have peace forever. And he's like, moon. He's like, what?
MOON spells
Right.
moon.
Moon. And that's when, Dr. Ian is like, holy shit, dude, the world just opened up. You know, essentially the world just opened up. And dude even comes back with a deer head for him, and they put it up on top of the, you know, he sees what he's doing, and he kind of brings it as like this offering almost.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. The Sneak family, the Manson family, end up we're in the woods with some people foraging some mushrooms and some other wild plants and things like that. One of them gets killed. I don't know why he ran after that one. Like, you were being quiet, just dip. You know, there's no reason to continue to like, oh, I'm gonna take this one down. And he hits the one, and then all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of other ones. They spit blood all over his face. He's turning into, because the original virus was monkeys. It was a rage virus that was created in monkeys. So what this virus does is if you get the blood in your mouth or in your eyes or bit, it just turns you into a rage monster. So he gets torn apart while this pregnant woman and her companion make it back to what looks like a really nice fortified house. Like, they've done a really good job. They get up to the door. There's a gentleman there, and he's like, we got company. And they're like, what? And he's like, company, guess, hold the door. They go inside. Everybody's having a good meal. We're introduced to this new group of individuals. We don't really learn a lot about these survivors. They've just kind of been there. They're kind of there for survivor fodder for the most part.
Yeah, 100%.
But damn if they hadn't, you know, structurally made a really nice place that you could, you know, hide out from a bunch of these crazy people. They're all in the house. Jimmy Crystals is filling them in a little bit, but he makes the one girl start dancing, and she's dancing like a weirdo over in the corner, and then all the other ones.
He's telling the story of Teletubbies.
Oh yes, he's like, he's like, it's the best thing ever because they can watch themselves in their bellies, and essentially he was like, it just keeps going. You know, there's this infinite feed. Like, if you put two mirrors next to each other, they just go on forever. That's the Teletubbies.
If you ever watch Teletubbies, like, it's a mind trip, dude. I feel like I'm on acid when I watch Teletubbies. So the fact that he loves this thing and he tells it like it's this like epic like tale,
right?
You know, like a Greek myth. Is he telling Teletubbies, and then he has the girl get up and she does the fucking Tinky Winky dance.
That's right. and I wonder, you know, when we get to the end, I really liked when he threw on Iron Maiden. But I wonder, like, a lot of these ones seemed young. Like, I don't know if they have any understanding. Like, have they ever heard Iron Maiden before? You know, was Teletubbies just one thing that they found, and it was like, oh, this is.
Well, you got to realize the virus has been 30 years old. It's 28 years later. These guys aren't even 28 yet.
That's what I was kind of right.
They grew up in the virus after the world fell apart, but there are people that are old enough to have remembered, like the doctor talks about.
Right.
He's like, it's almost like I almost envy you because you don't remember when things were normal.
Right. Right. And he says the only thing I can't really, he's like, I can recall the comfort and the consistency of the world. He's like bits and pieces, but I can't really remember it because he's just dragging along bodies with meat hooks in them and, you know, cooking them all off and building the huge thing and all this stuff.
He's the most sane one, and he's batshit crazy.
Yes. And he's really, I don't even know if he is. I think in his mind, it was the one thing that it gave him some sort of sanity.
It gave him purpose,
Gave him a purpose, yeah. But he's also a very accomplished doctor. Like, he's down there still trying to figure stuff out in his little hidey hole, his little hut that's super cool, his underground
But when you see it from the Jimmy's point of view, I think you realize how batshit crazy he is. They're like, fuck. Like, whoever did this, fuck.
Right. And, you know, though, the Jimmy, especially the main Jimmy, Crystals, he's crazy as ever. He's
he thinks he's the son of the devil.
Right. He and he believed it up until he met Dr. E, and he was like completely sold. But back at the house, let's go back to the house for a minute before we even get there, because this house scene goes on for a while. We end up, dinner goes bad, people start getting punched and hit and all this stuff, and we end up with everybody all chained up in the barn, the old school hands above, and Jimmy Crystals is like, take their shirts off.
I didn't like this part.
Me either.
Pops. It was hard to watch.
Because he really was, what he meant was skin them alive from the waist up in front of me. Little Spike runs out. He's puking everywhere like, bleh. And the only one who's still safe is the pregnant woman got away. She took off running, but didn't get outside. She got up in the barn. And so she's watching all of her friends, these people that, but I mean, honestly, I didn't feel a ton of anything for them because I feel like I didn't know them. You know, they were really just there to show me like, ooh, this is extreme. But it's still very uncomfortable.
It's very extreme and it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and
it's very extreme.
I'm kind of glad we didn't know them.
Right. Yeah, I didn't want to care anymore. They start skinning them all, with the exception of the one gentleman that was with the pregnant woman who's watching from up in the hayloft. And then we get him. And Jimmy Crystal's like, okay, you get a chance to be the new Jimmy. You want to be a Jimmy? You got to pick who you want to fight. And he picks Teletubbies. He picks the dancer. He's like, oh, a woman, I'll be able to.
Little skinny lady.
Right. This will be easy money. Which we've learned already that the main girl, the redhead with the freckles, she's a badass, dude. She'll just be walking around through the woods, like slice a neck, do a little roll to make sure you don't get no blood on you, and just keep walking, dude. She's a badass. But this woman's another level of crazy. She's on a kick, dude. She's on another one. Very graphic fight scene where she's cutting his armpit and stuff. I was like, oh, I can feel, like, you know what I mean? I can feel that. She beats him to the point where she's got him on the ground, and Crystal says something about, how are we gonna, whatever, what do you want to do? And she's like, I want to take his pants off. His trousers. They call them trousers. And they don't ever say, you know, Old Nick is a very English thing, a very British thing to call Satan. So
I thought they were talking about Santa Claus the whole time.
No, I heard it the first time in Dog Soldiers when they're giving the exposition about the one buddy who got the little red devil tattooed on his ass, and he hit that landmine, and that was the only piece of flesh left. And what's his name? It might have been Sean B. No, it wasn't Sean B. But he's like Sean Pertwee. He's like, and there was old Nick, the only piece of him left, staring right at me, laughing like a something. And I was like, and that's where I was like, oh, okay, that's what they call the devil, I guess, in England. So she's getting ready to cut my man's, and she's already stabbed him. Like, oh, he's a hot mess, dude. He's a hot mess. Everybody else is cheering, like, yay. Then she crawls on top of him. I'm ready to do this. And all of a sudden her face is just like, blood filling up, you know, that eye where the blood, like you see all the red and everything in there is all filling in. And old girl up in the raft through a giant hook, like a pulley system, like a hook and or a hook and rope type pulley system. And it got her right in the back of the head. And she's just like, ah! Dude gets up. He somehow rigs a freaking, like a propane tank. He turns the gas on and starts flaming people, just holding onto the tank.
Yeah, I was like, maybe start with that next time.
Right. Yeah, you think you could have got that off the rip. He's burning people up. Spike runs out. There's a few people who are on fire. Most of them get burned. You see it throughout the rest of the movie. Their hands are all gross and, gross. Everybody, the kid, he sends the kid to go kill the pregnant woman. He's like, yo, Jimmy, go get her. And he grabs his bow and their masks are sweet. They're just shoes that they took apart and put on their face. You know what I mean? If you took the sole off of a shoe and stretched it out flat, they just wear that on their faces. And he runs after her. This was a great moment. I thought this played really well because this kid's been trying to get out of it the whole time. He's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be any part of this. And he seizes out. He sees this lady, and she's a pregnant lady. Hopefully she's going to be sympathetic towards the children. And he's like, can I please take me with you? Take me. I want to just please. And she's like, all right. And walks up and like kicks him right in the gut and then knocks his little self all over the floor and then takes off through the gate. I'm out. Yeah. And now you might be able to help me out here. Did we get any more of her?
No.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, she just runs away and is gone now for maybe she'll come back in the next movie. I don't know, like the reconstruction of the Bone Temple, but she is gone into the night and takes off. The kid goes back. He's like, oh, I killed her. It was in the woods. And he's like, you didn't cut her face off to prove it? Like, what are you doing, Jimmy? Because Jimmy Crystals really is on this devil stuff. He's convinced all of them. He seems like a pretty ignorant human being who convinced even more ignorant human beings that he was something more.
Where have we seen that before?
Right.
In our government.
Right. And even the one girl, she questions it a little bit. She's like, because this is after everything gets all burned down, and she's like, yo, I think I found your dad. I was out scoping the area, and I like the way they had the one binocular was busted, so they had to turn it on its side. Clever. She's looking out, and she sees Dr. Ian and Samson frolicking through the flowers and dancing. This is the dawning of the age. They're really out there having the best time ever, singing. And we see because after he said moon, he starts doing even more research. He's like, maybe, it's a psychosis. Like there's a mental element that we've never even considered,
I feel like he had given up. Like he had gotten to the point where the only thing keeping him going was adding bones to his temple. And that was getting old. He was ready to give up and die. And I think that's why he narked himself next to Samson and was just like, if he kills me, yeah. If he doesn't, yeah.
And then maybe the fact that he didn't reignited that spark and
right. And then when Samson spoke, he was like, holy shit, like there's hope. There's something now to really like go for. And he dives back into his books. It's not like he's got the internet anymore, so he's got to go off Grey's Anatomy and shit, like looking through to figure something out. But yeah, he starts looking at it as a mental illness instead of like a virus.
Right. Or it can be right, essentially, like there's something more that's going on. And we see Samson, and this dude has to play it well, man. He's got to, acting without words is tough. And
100%,
conveying the level of emotion that he conveys when he's picking the berries. And I loved the little note where he wiped his fingers on his cloth or whatever, his loincloth. It was his humanity coming back. His fingers felt dirty or different, so he just barely wiped them off on the thing. And then he's washing his hands in the stream and like looking. And he had given him the medicine, the mental, to try and help the mental side. And you see him looking and just hearing the trees. He's not hearing the nightmare sounds anymore that were going on. And he's looking and he's watching the water and he's doing all this stuff.
I love that the one thing the doctor did though was like, he's all, if we're going to be friends, you got to cover up that dong, bro.
Right.
Because Samson is hanging an elephant trunk off the front of his.
But we do get to see Dr. Ian's penis as well, which is not a bad penis.
It was a pretty big penis. And I was like, oh, That's how they can be friends.
Right.
Because they're the last two dudes on earth with hanging dong that low. Like, he's like, I know what it feels like for my penis to hit my knee.
Right.
That's something that like a lot of people can't relate to.
Right.
Samson could. And I'm surprised that his first word was moon and not dong.
Right. Well, we learned why it was moon. We do get there.
We do get there. But the doc is like, you got to wear a loincloth, bro.
Right.
And it's a long loincloth.
It's
this isn't the Tarzan one. It has to be to cover because it'd just be mushroom tip hanging out the bottom. It would be doing no good.
It's still down by his ankles, just saying.
It's still, I bet he wrapped it around his waist, dude, and then put that loincloth over it. You can use that thing to wade through the river.
My man's dong is big, but I feel like it's proportioned to his body.
Maybe it's the proportion to me. It looked so big.
Right. Okay, that's fair. That's
right.
Fair. Anyway, so we're seeing Samson Alpha gain his humanity back. He's becoming, and we don't get the big reveal of that for a little while, because at first the gang all goes to the cliffside where Freckles had seen. She's like, "It's your dad, dude. He's got red skin. He's covered in filth. Like, he looks disgusting and all this stuff. And look at him. I mean, he's got bones everywhere. Like, this looks like a temple of hell, what it would be." And in his mind, I love it because he's such the antithesis of how they're seeing it. He's like, this is how we remember them. And this is how we, ensure stuff doesn't happen the same way again, and blah, 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 blah. But they're peeking. He's like, oh, shit. And this is where she calls them out a little bit to Spike. She's like, when he looked through that thing, I seen it on his face. There was no recognition that that's his father. Right. But he tells them, well, I'm going to go down. Yep, that's him. Oh, well, okay. Yep, that is. I'm going to go down. I'm going to talk to him first because all of you would just burst into flames or something like that. He gives them this whole reason. Okay. He heads down, and Dr. Ian's just sitting there. He had been looking around for Samson for a while, but Samson's been like a newborn baby in the woods, just finding life. Jimmy Crystals comes down, talks to Dr. Ian, figures out pretty quick that, because at first he's like, "You're my dad, right?"
Right.
He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You're old Nick." He's like, "I don't know no old Nick. I've never known no old Nick." And we learned that Dr. Ian is an atheist, and he eventually puts it together, and he's like, "You mean Satan? Like, you think I'm?" And he's like, "Oh no, dude! Like, that's the furthest thing from it. I'm a doctor, I'm trying to help people and stuff like that." And the big thing was that she saw him with Alpha, so she assumed that he can convene with demons, because they call them all demons. This is the devil's wrath on Earth. And so after quite some conversation, he's like, "You're not the devil." And he's like, "Nah, bruh." Like, he's so soft-spoken and just easy. No, I'm not. He's like, "Well, you're going to pretend to be, or I'm going to force feed you your intestines until you choke to death." And I like that Dr. Ian's like, "Wow, that is a bind, isn't it?" He's like, "I like you, man." You talk normal as shit. He's like, you get it. So he sends it back. He says, "Hey, tomorrow night, bring them. I'll have it, set up. We'll do the thing." We don't hear their conversation. He's like, "You're going to tell them these things, essentially lie to these people so they'll believe what I'm saying and they'll continue to follow me." He talks to, I think he does talk to Samson somewhere around here. He's like, tomorrow night something might happen. And I think that's when he gives him maybe some more of the medicine, like, this will help, because Samson wanders off to the train and he finds this old train car. He gets on the train and we see a flashback of when he was a little kid. But it was kind of confusing to me. He was like little kid, then adult, but without beard on.
Yeah, they were showing. I think they were trying to show that, like, think the timeline was a little fucked up in Samson's head too. Like, he wasn't having like an honest to God flashback. He was kind of having a trip a little bit.
But as a little boy, he was sitting riding the train with a book in front of him, and it was an astrology book, and the moon was in it. It was the page that we saw. What he was learning when the virus took over, when it got everybody. And the woman comes up in his vision, "Ticket, please. Ticket, love." And he looks up and there's just this zombie creature there. And he's like, "No ticket." Yeah. And then the thing looks at him and attacks him.
Yeah.
So we now know that Samson is free from this madness that was in his mind because they see him now in a different way.
Right.
They're still seeing, we got to assume that all of these demon thing, not demons, but the infected are all seeing those crazy faces, and that's what's making, you know, the psychosis so much. And so he goes on to, and they're all over him in this train. I mean, he bashes that one against the ceiling and chucks it out the window. His dong is fighting a different one while he's fighting like some over here. Wiener's fighting the ones over there. But we watch this fight for a little while, and then we see them kind of pile up on him. We cut to the Bone Temple. They show up, and we had seen Dr. Ian setting up a little bit, but not the full extent of what was going to go down. And this was cool, dude. This whole sequence was
So cool, dude.
And they walk through. There's candles lit everywhere. They don't see him, and Jimmy is like, Dad, where are you? You know, and he tells them nobody can talk to him but me. If you try and touch him, you'll explode into fire and all this stuff. They get in there, and then all of a sudden you hear the opening from The Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden, which is fantastic. If you're going to do it, you know, it was a human number. The number was that of 666. And doon, 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 din, 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 din. I went along down. My mind was blank. Bam, bam, bam. And he's full on paint all over, singing, like going nuts. And he blows whatever his drug concoction in their face. So they're really kind of tripping at the same time. He's singing Number of the Beast. He's got this, he poured gas in this big circle and throws the thing down. The whole thing lights up. And he then puts on whatever his welding gear, that super, and has this like double staff while he's, you know, we get almost the whole song. This dude's running around there. They think they're in hell having the best time ever. Like, yeah. And he does this big double fire thing, and then he's gone, and they're like, what? This is crazy. He's all the way now around in front of the thing, and he's like, come over here, my fingers, you know, come fingers. And they all come over, kneel down. Not you, son, you stand, because you are my most precious son, or whatever like that.
I love Jimmy's little smirk right there where he was like ready to kneel, you know, he was going along with the performance. And then he was like, not you, my son. And he was like, oh, yeah, right on, brother. Like, that was a good touch.
That's right. Okay. And so he's got them all kneeled down. This is what I need from you. I need you to go out and grow the number of fingers. I need you to keep doing exactly what you were doing. Keep murdering people all over the place. Truly deplorable thing. I mean, these people, there's probably a whole movie of them just being psychopaths running around figuring all this out. So you're all going to do that. You're all going to go out into the world. You're going to carry on smartly, blah, 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 blah. And Jimmy's just like, yes, okay, all right, everybody, time to go. And they go to leave, and he looks at Spike, and you see it in Dr. Ian's eyes. He recognizes the boy, because in 28 years later, we get the whole story of the boy and his mother. And, you know, this kid went through a lot in that movie. And he sees this recognition, and they're about to walk away, and he's like, wait, there's one more decree. And I love how he played him, too. He's like, you know, you are my one and only son. God had only one son, one and only. In order to be at his right hand, he had to die. And they're like, all right, all the other friends, he's like, you know, we got to kill this dude. And they're getting ready to do that. He pulls out a quick knife and stabs. Dr. Ian is like, if he was the devil, could I really do that? You know what I mean? No, not going to happen. He's, dying over the way. I can't remember how she killed the other two. Freckles kills the other two Jimmys real quick. Because the one Jimmy was going to kill the little boy in the woods. She ended up killing that Jimmy. And then the two that were left, like in the arena with her, she ends up killing them. We kind of don't see everything that happens. We see Spike and Ralph Fiennes have this great, you know, moment. And we also get a really cool shot. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be representative of anything, but when he died, we get this almost soul lifting up to a bird's eye point of view. And we got that a few times. Even when Jimmy Crystal's, the other buddy, died, he was like, whoop, like grabbed the soul and puffed it up into the air. You know, he kind of did this thing.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, but we get this pull of Ralph Fiennes, like, you know, maybe you weren't or maybe, you know, the world wasn't as atheist as you. I don't know. It just seemed like this whole movie just has, you know, theological iconography all over it. And then we get this scene was rad, dude. And Jimmy Crystal shows up. Whoever the actor is right here shows up well. They've got him in the full Apostle Peter, the upside down. You know, Peter said, "I'm not even worthy to be crucified like my master, so put me upside down." So he's upside down on a cross, and I also liked Ralph Fiennes. I just remembered this. Carrying his own cross, just like Jesus did to his death. It's almost like he knew he was going to his death. I thought that was a great touch too. And they've got him strung up upside down. Both Freckles and Spike take their masks off, and they're going to walk away, but not before we see the devil, the real devil. And you've got Johnny Crystal's upside down, and we see this shape. At first you think it's Samson. It just looks like this big mass, but then you see these like huge, you know, Tim Curry from Legend style horns. These monster horns come out, and he watches the devil go over and pick up Dr. Ian and carry him away. We see that it is Samson, but Johnny Crystals is broken, and then Jimmy Crystals, yeah, Jimmy Crystals is like, you know, it's almost the biblical line, you know, my God, why have you forsaken me? Or Father, why have you forsaken me? Or something like that. And then you see the only jump scare in the movie is like, bah! When it whatever goes to grab at his face. They take off together. I don't know Samson. We don't see anymore, right? He just walked away with the body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he takes off with his best friend, his other dong homie, and off into the woods. We cut to a little cabin. We see an exterior of this little cabin that looks kind of well fortified. We go inside, and as you had mentioned earlier, we have Cillian Murphy there with his daughter, who I hope was the daughter of him and the woman from the original. You know,
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I hope it went that way. And he's teaching her all about World War II and why we got to remember history and things like that. The little girl hears something outside. Oh, what is it, Dad? I don't know. They go to look. He's got a rifle. She's got a, you know, seeing eye. And we see Spike and Freckles running away from a horde of infected. And she's like, are we going to help them? And at first he's like, we're going to help them. They take off to go help them. Roll credits.
Yeah.
Bone Temple.
I'm really afraid we're not going to get the third one, though. Bone Temple didn't do very well in the theater.
No, but it's doing, maybe though. I mean, we're not locked into that theater world anymore, though. It could be like Netflix.
I would be totally fine. Yeah.
If it does baller on Netflix, like, we've seen some of them Netflix movies that have like $50 million budgets.
100%. Yeah.
Right. And if there's enough people that'll sit and watch it, like if it does well enough on streaming, then, but I don't know where are we going? Because my understanding is the virus never got out of like England and stuff. Like a lot of the world is still okay.
Yeah. I mean, that was the story that was the myth of 20 years later is that like, you know, everywhere else in the world is okay. London is or Europe basically shut down. And then they were trying to reopen parts of it. And 28 weeks later, and you just can't contain the virus. There's always going to be someone who fucks it up.
And now we do have somewhat of a cure. Or what if it's like Weekend and Bernie's with Samson and Dr. Ian? Where he's just walking around with
that would be the best.
Like,
100%, dude. They're just like slapping dongs, dude, like that little ball toy in the 80s. Just yeah, dude, just like arm in arm. It's just a road adventure of them, dude, like going to Mexico to get some more fucking meth.
Can you see like,
so that they can, like
can you see, it was morphine, not meth, but can you see, can you imagine Samson in like some beach glasses, Hawaiian shirt, sandals, little cutoff shorts with dong just hanging like 4 inches out the leg?
Yeah, dude.
I'm here for
like he's got a sandal for the end of his dong, dude. That'd be great.
It's walking with him. Sticking up the
Like his dong is cured. His
Right.
dong is cured and it doesn't have the virus, and the rest of them does, and they're trying to figure out. This shit writes itself, man.
It does. It does. Okay, so let's give this thing a score. Out of 5 dong sandals, how many do you give? How many do you give The Bone Temple, a 28-year story?
I'm gonna give this a 4, dude. I'm gonna watch this again. I thought it was cool. I thought it added to the horror genre. It showed me some stuff, nothing like that I couldn't imagine myself, but definitely showed me some stuff that I was just like, that usually gets cut away in other horror movies. You know, they cut away while that happens. This just shows it.
Dude, that guy bleeding out of his leg that whole time, and it's just gushing while you watch this guy die while he's trying to figure out what's even going on, and nobody will help him. But it's just spraying at the camera.
Oh yeah, just it's squirting everybody in the face, dude.
Oh.
Like it would be comical in anything else, and in this,
Right.
it's just a horror show.
Oh.
And then you know how much I love and respect boobies. To
Right.
see the skin peeled down off the boobies,
That was gnarly.
so
dude.
upsetting.
That
dude.
was gnarly. I
So
was like,
upsetting.
ooh, that would. And the fact they were all still alive, and they're just like,
Oh yeah, dude, they're still there, hanging there. Yeah.
Well, they
did it
burned
to 'em,
up. The
and
whole-
you hear
the
they cut
whole-
away from
yeah.
the.
But the barn burned down.
Yeah,
The whole
but
thing
how
burned.
long?
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah. You get your skin peeled off, and then you burn to death on top of that. Fuck, dude.
Right.
Somebody let me borrow a bullet, please.
Anybody.
Anybody, yeah. Even a fucking blowgun. I'll be like, please blow on the end of this for me.
That was sweet. They had little slingshots they could shoot arrows out of, though. Them
dude,
fools
that
were dope with those. They were.
That was the thing. There's so many little cool throwaway moments in this
Yeah.
movie where you're just like, I want to see a whole movie on that. Just on the slingshot kids.
And that was, I think one of the great things, but also, so I'm going 3.5. I'm going 3.5.
All right.
And the majority of it is my observation from the beginning of the episode. If you don't understand this lore, this movie is it's hard, dude. It is hard to follow, especially if you haven't watched the one before this, because you're just like, who is this crazy old man out in the? Who are the disco, people with all these gold chains, or they look like the Jersey Shore or something, from early Jersey Shore episodes. Who are all these people? But in the grand scheme of the whole 28-day stuff, I think it's great. Like you, I'm going to go back and watch it again. I want to watch it again. I want to know more about where, Samson goes from here. But I think that also they just kind of gave us these characters to throw away. The pregnant woman, it didn't even matter that she was pregnant. I think that's the only thing that kept her alive is maybe they needed a reason for her not to be caught up with everything else. And it's like, okay, we're not going to show you somebody actually, even though the one dude said it, like, why didn't you cut her baby out and bring it to me? You could have brought her face. You could have brought anything, Yeah.
Can you imagine he just comes up with a dead baby and he's just like, hello, I'm the dead baby. I brought this to you as proof of that I killed that lady. Hilarious, right? Right, Jimmy? I'm like one of you now. I'm Jimmy Puppets.
He's like, kid, you're my new sidekick. You're hilarious.
You're Jimmy number 2. Yeah, Freckles, you're out.
And I think there is more to dissect, but we don't know enough about the Jimmies. Like you said, there's got to even do a comic book run of you know what I mean? Something.
Oh, yeah, they're doing it with Event Horizon. Totally do it with 28 days later.
Yes, dude. Oh, I would love another Event Horizon. Or just to see all the footage that we talked about when we did the movie that they said was way too intense for what.
Yeah, I've heard the comic is hot fire, but I can't find it anywhere.
Check out a lot of times when I can't find a comic, I'll jump on ours is called Libby. It's through our local library. It's a digital thing where you can borrow digital stuff, and ours has
I have that, but ours sucks.
Ours has a massive comic book library, like silly. But yeah, I've actually been reading Sandman lately, the Neil Gaiman stuff. I never read it when it came out, and I'm probably like 30, 40 issues into it right now. And that shit's good, dude.
I saw that the Netflix series was good.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the Netflix stuff because I always told myself I wanted to read the comics, and I finally pulled the trigger. And they've got all the omnibuses on the DC app, so I'll read like 5, 6, 7 issues a night, and It's wild though, like that whole idea about Lucifer and destiny and desire and all the different kind of gods and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty rad. Oh, okay. All right. Pause for the living.
I need the pause for the living after talking about all that devil dong and fire and Finland and shit. That baby joke maybe was a little too far even for me.
Right. That was pretty bad because you put your hand up. Like,
Yeah, it was the hand.
That's what took it too far, dude. Like, we're totally cool with Officer Mooney puppets from Killer Clowns from Outer Space or the dad from Dead Silence, fine, but not babies.
Yeah,
I don't
not babies. That's
No.
gross.
No.
They just fit better though on your hand. All right, no more baby puppets. Pause for the living.
I give up.
Just radio silence pops us out.
Right, I'm out. I just get up and leave the room. Show just ends. You're just sitting there telling me.
That was the last episode, guys. I don't know. That was crazy.
Oh my goodness. Okay, real pause for the living. And you kind of segued a little bit into there because you talk about the episodes and stuff. Make sure we should all try. I think we should all try. Those people in our lives who we care about, and who we venture with and we do all this stuff with. Recognize those people, and it's easy to fall into the rut, especially with your spouse. That's a very easy one to fall into, where it's like you start taking it for granted, and it is easy because it's there every day, But you and I have been so fortunate that B Money and Chelsea Graves have joined this venture with us. You know what I mean? And so my pause for the living this week is actually celebrating something that they're doing. They just recently relaunched Wolfpack Gaming, kind of like officially.
I saw that.
Yeah, I know it was something for a while. I hop on it. I watch them on Twitch and stuff like that. They're a ton of fun. And it's those people, like, I'm inspired by both of them.
Yeah.
They keep me like this fire going, like seeing, and I encourage everyone to take a good look at your circle. Take a really good look at your circle and determine if your circle of influence is bringing you up or down, because it usually only does one of two things.
Right.
It usually only does one of two things. If you surround yourself with people who complain and they say it's everybody else's fault and why not me, blah, 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 this and that, you might start saying similar things. You never know. Well, right. Well, yeah, we should have more, I should be better off. I shouldn't be in this position. Look for the people who, in my opinion, the people that I'm trying to put around my own self, the people who are just living, man. They're just living. And when I don't know how else to articulate it. When you're with them, you can look and you can almost feel the honesty coming off of the person.
100%. Yeah, it would be money. Like, you can just tell, like, he's a good dude. And like, I've never met the guy, but like, and he's not just the guy that pops in on the weekends when we're doing the show. Like, every day, dude, he's out there posting stuff. He's doing stuff. He's working for us. And it's not, that's good people, dude. Those are the kind of people. And you can't be negative with someone like that who's just like, I'm doing it, dude. I'm doing it all the time, every day, every minute, man. And you're just like, yeah, dude,
it's the same thing, Chelsea and myself have recorded quite a few now, and she's getting more and more into her groove, and I'm loving it. But she'll, send a text out and, hey, what do you think about this? Or could we, something like that. Her brain is working, but, it's having those people around you who are invested in collective success.
Yeah.
People who want to do something. Because I think there's a lot of people out there who don't want to do anything except sit and complain about how everybody else is doing better than they are.
Right.
I think there's a very real it seems like a big portion of the population now is really struck by this, like, FOMO and FOBO and all that stuff, or the grass is greener, the Joneses, whatever you want to call it. Now you can see it all day and night long from 5,000 different angles at the same time. Like, oh, this person's in Florida. This person's in Hawaii. I'm a piece of crap. It's like, no, you're not, but you're just putting in front of you, you know, all of these comparative things. And that's not good. You want those people around you who are like, I'm happy for them. Good for my homie. You know, you're celebrating. It's so much easier. I shouldn't say it's easier. It's probably actually harder, but it feels much better to build than it does to destroy. You know, to build something that you hope is going to last. You know, demolition can be fun too, I guess. But
well, when you build something fucked up, it's fun to break into shit.
Right.
But,
That's fair. That's fair.
But at least try to build good stuff.
Right. And it doesn't have to, you're not, you know, many of us are never going to change the world. Even the people who have changed the world, from the most part, people have forgotten about. You know, there's a handful of people, the names that people know. But for the most part, people don't really, you know, our memory is very short. Our memory is very short. And if you realize, for me anyway, that you don't have to change the world, but you might be, I don't know if I'm changing the world. You might be nice to somebody one day and they're going to change the world, or they won't go home and beat their kid and they'll change their mind about that. And a whole new generation of kids don't worry about it getting beat and shit like that. You never know. But find those people. Find those people who inspire you, you know, and you, be money. I try to tell you guys all the time how much you inspire me. It's like, because like you said, he'll throw something out there like, look at this, look at that. And I'm like, it's actually really like feels like it's happening. You know what I mean?
Right,
but it wouldn't exist without him.
Right.
Like, he is so important. Like you said, it's not someone that I could just find someone else and put them in that role. It's his passion and his person that brings what it does to that. And, you know, Chelsea.
And he's not doing it for himself.
No,
he's doing it for us, all of us, you know?
Yeah. We're all
and
part of the
CeeWolf
team,
too, you know? And and then they're just like, you know what? We should do our video game thing, you know? And they got on that Resident Evil Requiem, which can I just say that ruined me, dude. It ruined me. It was so scary that like it put me in like I had to do a palate cleanser every night that I played it.
Did you finish it?
Yeah, I just finished it. And afterwards I felt like I survived something.
That's what survival horror should do.
Yeah, but this was too much, dude. Like, I thought back to, like, I was like, the first one scared me when I first played it.
Yeah.
But those zombies were like, "Bleh." Now they're like, "Bleh," and then, like, their heads explode, and then they turn into something worse, and you're just like, fuck off. That fucking big thing that was a girl that was climbing up into the ceiling and shit. I was like, I don't even have a gun. Fuck you.
All you got to do for her is turn the lights on. You just got to make sure you're strategic about turning the lights on.
I'm just in the dark, dude. I just got this little fucking mini flashlight that just barely lights anything up. Yeah, and there's just scary shit happening everywhere, dude. Sounds, fucking monsters.
But listen, isn't that beautiful that 9 games into a series they can still scare the crap out of you?
Oh, dude, it was like somebody just grabbed you by the back of the head and just started kicking your nuts, just kicking them, kicking them, kicking them. And one kick in the nuts, you're like, that was a big kick in the nuts. 9 kicks in the nuts, dude. And then they give you Leon, dude. And they're just like, Leon, now you're a badass. Now you got all these weapons. You can carry all the shit in the world. And you're still like fucking shit. They're shooting rocket launchers at you. And you're like, zombies are shooting rocket launchers. This is not fair.
Though, how good was it when you had to shoot the glass out from under their feet? You could like, hoard them up. Dude, that game next to part 4 is I'm gonna give it a little bit more time, but I am so like 9 is just almost damn near a masterpiece in my mind. Like that
the motorcycle chase alone, dude.
So good.
Like, what?
So good.
I'm driving up a skyscraper on a motorcycle, and I'm like, but I'm so scared. Like it's gnarly, dude. Gnarly.
Right.
It was giving me nightmares. I'm a delicate thing, dude. Dude, you know this about me. And this game came at me hard, dude.
I'm a delicate.
It came at me hard. I am, dude. I mean, the horror movies are scary enough, but like those give you a chance to breathe. This never lets up. It never gave me time to like, ooh, that was a scary moment. Now I know I'm safe. You're never safe. Even now in your freaking safe room, you're not safe. Those monkey fuckers can come in there and open the door.
Dude, there were some moments in that game. I think that whole first sequence with Grace and the big mama monster and the Zippo lighter dude, that's pure terror. That is
too
pure
much.
terror.
Dude.
They did it
Even
so
in the
good.
first building where there's no fucking zombies. It's so scary.
Did you ever play Dead Space?
Fuck no, that looks really scary.
Dude, I really want you to listen. We're gonna figure it out. Okay, CeeWolf, B Money. We're putting it out here right now. We got to figure it out how we can collectively, or how we can get Lil Duke and get his like reactions and stuff while he's playing video games, because Dead Space is, in my opinion, dude, one of the scariest things I've ever played, and it's so good. It is so
Resident
good.
Evil 9 is so good, and it's
Yeah.
hurt my being. I don't even know what to do to fix it. Like, I can't undo it.
You just keep playing it until you get so better. You're like, you're not Scary Monster when you got infinite rocket launcher.
I don't. Yeah, it's beating it on 4 hours. Eat my ass, dude. Like, I'll never have that rocket launcher ever.
I think you could do it on casual though, so it's not super intense. You know, you can almost like, there's a lot of good ways to run through it to get it.
I played it on casual. It's intense.
You're silly. You're
Dude,
silly.
I told you I'm delicate. I will not even like.
I'm really
fine.
hoping though, dude, when the new Michael Myers game comes out, the Halloween one, we can all get on that shit, because it's a 4-person asymmetrical, and it looks like, if we got a team before, that'll be rad. You know, we can make it happen. And listen, any of you beautiful souls who are gamer type people, dude, throw your handle in the comments if you want to be down. And I think most of all of us play on PS5, but everything's got crossplay for the most part now, you know, depending on what we're doing. I've been playing a ton of that John Carpenter's, you hear that, Midwest? John Carpenter's Toxic Commandos. So much fun, dude. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a zombie horde shooter. It's got like 9 different acts. And so you can pick it up, just play one, you know, and be done, level up your guy a little bit. But the music is Carpenter-like music. The dialogue is 80s, like, awesome, like, lick it before you stick it, you know, funny shit like that. The crossplay, everything that I've played online has been great with people so far. It's $40. It's not going to break the bank. And it's a good it has a couple problems, but overall, I'm excited. So anyway, that's it. Pause for the living, man. Just find your peoples. Find your peoples. And if you have peoples in your life who are not doing you a whole lot of good, maybe start looking at a way to, you know, you got to cut the gross out. You got to cut the infection out. If something's really poisoning you and spoiling you, cut that piece out, dude. And it might hurt. It usually does hurt. Sometimes there are 20-year friendships.
Yeah,
You know,
it's like a skin tab.
right.
Just wrap it with a rubber band and then cut it off.
Right. You got to make it happen, because you're going to be a lot better in the long run.
Yeah, you don't need those skin tabs.
All right. Next week, I'm not 100% sure. I know that CeeWolf and myself have something coming up, but I can't remember, because me and you were supposed to do Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and then we switched it out for this one. So things will get shuffled a little bit, and that's going to happen, you guys. As much as we want to keep a schedule nice, you know, as things release, if it's, you know, something people are excited about talking about, then we're going to for sure throw it in the schedule and give you our 2 cents, which, you know, you can't even get pennies anymore. So our 2 cents ain't worth shit. Collect it for later. Those Movie Guys podcast. Keep your soul beautiful. Random acts of kindness. I'm Pops Ghostly.
I'm Duke Spooky.